Something huge just happened between London and Washington. What was meant to be a bold diplomatic move has instead triggered outrage at the very top of the White House and the message to Keir Starmer. Brutal. Let's break it down. But first, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more. Keir Starmer's decision to recognize a Palestinian state has caused a political earthquake, not just in London, but in Washington. What was supposed to be a bold diplomatic gesture has instead drawn a sharp and public rebuke from the White House, who branded the move nothing short of a reward for Hamas. Starmer, for his part, has insisted this recognition is about keeping alive the possibility of peace and pushing for a two-state solution. He framed it as a moral obligation to bring an end to the horror unfolding in Gaza. But the message from Washington was uncompromising. This is not the time. And this decision does nothing to bring Israeli hostages home, nor does it end the war. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt didn't mince her words. She said President Trump feels the UK's recognition does nothing to release the hostages, nothing to end the conflict, nothing to bring this war to a close. Instead, she said bluntly, it's a reward to Hamas. Strong language from America's most powerful office and a diplomatic slap in the face for Downing Street. Now remember, during Trump's state visit to Britain he was more restrained when asked at Chequers. He merely said he disagreed with Keir on Palestinian statehood. That was the polite version. But now, with the dust settling and the cameras off, the gloves have come off too. Washington wants it crystal clear. They see this as weakness, as premature, and as deeply damaging to the chances of peace. And it's not just America. Israel has erupted in fury at Starmer's move. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu called the decision an absurd reward for terrorism, warning it endangers Israel's very existence. One senior Israeli official even told Sky News that in direct response, Israel is now considering full or partial annexation of the West Bank. That means more land grabs, more settlements, and an even deeper rift between the two sides. In other words, far from bringing peace, Starmer may have triggered the exact opposite. And the timing could not have been more explosive. Just days after the announcement, shocking footage emerged from Gaza. Hamas executed 3 Palestinians accused of collaborating with Israel, blindfolded, marched into a public square and shot in the head in front of a cheering crowd. A note left on their bodies read, "Your betrayal will not pass without punishment." Think about the optics of that. Keir Starmer recognizes a Palestinian state on paper, saying it's about peace. And within days, Hamas broadcasts executions in broad daylight, framed as justice. It makes the Prime Minister look naive, as though he has handed international legitimacy to a terror group who in practice continues to rule by fear and violence. Meanwhile, America's position has hardened since October 7. Trump previously supported the two-state solution during his first term, but after the massacre of Israeli civilians and the ongoing hostage crisis, he says bluntly, the situation has changed, and that's why the White House is doubling down now. Starmer, though, has backed himself into a corner. He's trying to say recognition doesn't legitimize Hamas, that they will play no official role in a future Palestinian state. But that's wishful thinking at best. Right now, Hamas is the governing power in Gaza, and recognizing Palestine inevitably raises the question of whether the UK is giving that same governing power a seat at the diplomatic table. And it's not just Washington and Jerusalem who are pushing back. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio warned ahead of Starmer's move that it would embolden Hamas and undermine future prospects of peace. Those warnings were ignored. Now the fallout is being felt on both sides of the Atlantic. Yes, Britain wasn't alone. Australia, Canada, France, Portugal, and Belgium also rushed to recognize Palestine ahead of the UN General Assembly in New York. But here's the difference. Britain isn't just another country. It's America's closest ally. And when Washington calls Britain's actions a mistake, it carries weight. So the question becomes this. Has Starmer miscalculated badly? Did he jump too soon, sacrificing Britain's diplomatic credibility for the sake of plating the left wing of his party? Because right now it looks like he's managed to anger Israel, disappoint America, and embolden Hamas all at the same time. The brutal reality is this. You don't reward terror with recognition. And no matter how much Kay dresses this up as a humanitarian gesture, the world is seeing the other side of it. A naive gamble, one that could deepen divisions rather than resolve them. And as the White House made perfectly clear, America is not on board. In other news, Nigel Farage is a threat to our country and to our democracy. Sir Ed Davey has said as he warned that Reform UK's plans to deport migrants could lead to a Windrush-style scandal. The Liberal Democrat leader also refused to rule out forming a coalition with Labour to keep out Reform from power and said that he would meet with Donald Trump if he were Prime Minister. Speaking to the media at the Liberal Democrat conference in Bournemouth, Sir Ed repeatedly name-checked the Reform UK leader. He said he's a threat to our country and to our democracy. What he wants to do, and that's why he looks a bit like Donald Trump, is he wants to bring Trump's America to the United Kingdom. People who care about British values don't want to be an adjunct to Trump's America. These included adopting America-style health insurance in the UK, for example. Sir Ed also took aim at Reform's new plan to abolish the right of migrants to qualify for permanent settlement in the UK after 5 years and reapply for new visas with tougher rules to cut the benefits bill. He said it could create a Windrush-style scandal and tear families apart. The Liberal Democrat leader said Nigel Farage has not clearly thought this through. He has not worked out the impact on red tape or on taxes. He has not realized that lots of these people have made their lives here contributing to businesses to the health service. And what I think people are really worried are people who have no right to be here. Sir Ed added that the Liberal Democrats would be open to new digital ID cards if they were not controlled by a central database. He told the media it's something they are calling digital identity. That could mean empowering individuals so they can access their public services and they are in control and the state doesn't have a role. However, the Liberal Democrats would absolutely oppose any plans for a centralized database where the state can watch you control you. But if it puts the individual in charge and gives the individual more freedom and not the state, well, we are liberals. We believe in freedom, said added. The Liberal Democrat leader also said he would attend the state banquet with Donald Trump if he became Prime Minister, insisting, "I have no problem engaging with someone I disagree with." However, Sir Ed boycotted last week's dinner in protest over Gaza. What are your thoughts on what we discussed in today's video? Let me know down in the comments section below. If you've not yet already, make sure you do drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for more British content. Thank you. Take care.